Hey guys, it's 𝗪𝗛𝗏𝗚𝗚 here, and welcome to the very first build challenge of the year. Now, even though we are going into the new year, this challenge is going to be a little bit different. We're actually going to turn a brand new house into something a little bit older and more rustic. But with that said, we will keep the overall build intact as much as possible, and other than that, I don't really have any other build restrictions. So taking a look at the build itself, this is actually one of EA's original builds. So really, it only comes with base game and the get-together pack, but I do think it is a pretty good base to work with. We do have a living area here, we have 2 bedrooms towards the left, we have a pretty large kitchen over here to the right, and also a bathroom over here as well. And if we look at the backyard, we even have a pretty nice patio area here. So overall, this is what we're starting with, and we're going to turn this into an older, more rustic build using this base and hopefully keeping the build as close to the original one as possible. All right, so starting off, EA automatically did not level these columns. They are floating here. So I will delete them, but I do want to put some columns in as well. Overall, I'm not really sure what kind of look I want this lot to have, but I mean, we are on an island, so I'm thinking pretty countryside rural, if that makes sense. Honestly, you guys, we do have some pretty nice stone over here, so I could incorporate this and put it around the lot itself. All right, this door definitely needs to go. It is way too modern. I think I could do something like this and maybe use some doors from the Seasons pack. I think that could be a better look. I definitely want to get rid of these very large windows here, but we could find some other ones that could fit a little better for a rustic theme. We could do a bay window, that could be a possibility, but we do have some really nice ones from Cottage Living as well, possibly something like this perhaps. Oh, I really like these two. We could do a light wood like this, and I think this could be really fitting too. This roof is something. I think the roof worked when this was a more mid-century modern type of vibe, but honestly, it's not doing it here. I could delete it and then just try to create some kind of gabled roof. The question is, what kind of roof is going to work here? That is a really good question. Gonna shrink it down like this so it blends in just like that. And I do believe I wanted some kind of overhang. So that part I'm not too sure about. All right, tuck these in just like this. Maybe one more over here. Okay, not bad. I think this is doable. Not really too sure on the roof trims just yet, because if we want to go super rustic, we can use some good old cottage living here. I'm certainly deleting all of this because this desert landscaping just doesn't fit here, unfortunately, but we can put something else here instead. All right, let's take away the bench, the mat, and also the mailbox, and maybe we can go for a more rustic path over here, maybe something like this. The roof definitely has to go. Again, I'm not really sure what will fit. We could even do one of these roofs from the cottage living pack, so if we're going really rural with this, this could work. I do want to swap out the main platform over here, so possibly some aged wood would be a little better. Definitely still want some columns here. I'm going to try to use the ones from the Seasons pack first, and let me align them just like so. Stairs we will keep, but they will be a little bit skinnier, so probably right here will work best. All right, to enclose the balcony, I think we can probably do cottage living once more, and I think one of these options may do the trick. Okay, it's not bad. I would have liked for a lighter wood, but I don't think it is too bad at all. We do also have this from the Island Living pack, which does have a better swatch, so we could do something like this. Ooh, honestly, you guys, I do like the look of this. I think I will actually use some get together after all for the wallpaper. So let me give this a shot and then also change out the wallpaper up here as well. I'm still thinking about the hay roof. I think it might be a little bit too much if I'm being honest with you guys. But I could use some roof materials from the Island Living pack, which also could be really cool. I also completely forgot to add some spandrels, so let me update that as well. I don't know if these are working now. These are a little bit mismatched if I'm being honest, but I could swap these out just like this. I think this could actually still fit the look fairly well. Spandrels, can we put them in place? Could we get some nice Seasons perhaps, just like this? And for the foundation, it almost looks like this is on a platform, which I don't think it is. It's probably my misjudgment, but let me use one of these materials. All right, I think this is looking better. I do want to resolve the chimney though, because it is floating very strangely. So let me delete this and I will try to restructure this area here. I do also have the option of making this a little bit wider, and I think I'll be able to shape the chimney a little bit more easily this way as well. So here we go. All right, so going in, I think we can do probably something like this just for now. Probably gonna delete these windows. I don't think we need them. We can also delete these blinds as well. Okay, pretty much everything is being deleted here, so Here we go, you guys. We are completely cleaning this place out, but we will keep this as the main living room area. I think for the current lighting situation, what I'm going to do is just use my favorite lamp from the Cottage Living pack, and I'll place it just like this for now, just so we have a better idea of what we're doing in here. Alright, so for the wallpaper here, I'm actually thinking we can do base game. I do like some of these swatches from this particular option, and I think this could go really nicely on the inside. Definitely looks more fitting to a country home or one you would find on a ranch, so I think this will do the trick. And I'll pull more of these wood pieces from the Jungle Adventure pack as well, just like this. I don't believe the Cottage Living pack has any tall windows, so that's going to be a little bit hard. We do have these. These are actually matching the ones towards the front, so I guess I could put them on each side. I'm also going to copy this wallpaper just for the time being. That way I can kind of neutralize all the rooms. And like I said, all of this is pretty much getting trashed. So unfortunately, a lot of these modern amenities will go bye-bye. Same thing with the floorboards. I'm going to put them everywhere just for now. All right, Mr. DJ, all of this stuff is going. This is way too modern for this space. But you'll still have a bedroom to call your own, so it won't be too bad. Even with the room being empty, I still want to make sure that this room is paying an homage to the character that lived here. Unfortunately, I don't really know their names, but I do know that this person was very musically oriented. It probably worked for one of the nightclubs. For this sim, I believe this sim was a little bit more studious and a little bit more preppy, so I do want his room to reflect that as well. My goodness, there are a lot of cabinets. I don't know what these guys were cooking here, but this is a little bit excessive, so we're gonna delete that. All right, we can breathe a little bit more easily now. I think most of the clutter is out of the way, so this is what we're working with. I do like that we have two pretty large bedrooms here, but I think what I'm going to do is actually move the kitchen into this space and then have the two bedrooms farther towards the back. So I think that makes more sense. We do have more privacy with this hallway, and then also, I guess, more convenient access to the bathroom. So I think this floor plan will be a little bit more effective. I will do the same thing out here as well. Let me clear out all of these objects. We're also going to lose the awnings as well because they're just not really fitting with the design at the moment. Additionally, I do think I want to use some of this stone texture. We don't really have the correct matching stone texture here, but I can bring it in with this wall texture just like this. That way we do have a little bit more variety with the wallpaper. Let me also fix up this chimney area and make it a little bit taller just like this in the center. Can I stick the chimney on the inside? I was going to put it on top. I just don't really know if it's too tall, but I can still give it a shot. All right, so let's build it up like this. I'll also put in the ceiling as well, which is already here. So you can see how adept I am at this, but let's do this, move this chimney over here like this. And I think if I do maybe a partial wall on top, that could do the trick. All right, I think this is looking better. I did increase the roof height just a little bit, so I do think this looks a little bit more consistent. And I do like the new shape of the chimney as well. All right, more modern fixtures that have to go. Let's get rid of all of these windows. And I'll probably bring in more from this side as well, just like this. All right, same thing over here. Goodbye modern, hello rustic. I'm going to repurpose more of these windows, and I'll probably bring in more of these smaller options as well. Let's do a smaller window for the bathroom. I'll probably take these two with the open shutter just like this. Ooh, we could actually have a nicer exit to the backyard area. So let me delete this large window and also this smaller door as well. All right, and in a really fun twist of fate, the patio itself is actually not too bad. I do enjoy the wall texture they used on the surrounding wall, so I do think that fits perfectly with what we have, but let's also create some new landscaping here as well. Honestly, you guys, for a more rural countryside build, I don't think we need all of these little borders here. I think we can let a lot of the foliage grow a little bit more naturally. Definitely going to take these lights out. I don't think they're really servicing this new aesthetic, so bye-bye to these. Generally, you guys, I do really like these more bulbous bushes, if you will, but I don't really think they're too fitting here. I think they're a little bit too manicured, so let me get rid of these. I'm going to find more sort of naturalistic options, if that makes sense. I do think the Get Together debug will do the trick here, so let me see what we have to work with. All right, so we could do something like this. I'm probably going to scale it down just like so. I don't want to go too overboard with them this time, though, so let me just put a few more selective hedges. I do also like these daisies as well, because they do fit with the theme of the house, so let me keep those. Unfortunately, this does not scale down any further. It's going to get clipped just a little bit. I could try to shrink in this patio, which might be a little bit sad, but honestly, I think I'll be okay with it. So let me see if I do something like this, and then put another shrub going this way. Honestly, you guys, this could work in our favor. I could create a little garden area here as a nice exit point from this patio area. So let me actually try this. I will fully block it in with these hedges just like so. I'm going to pull some stairs over and situate it there right in the middle. All right, so we definitely need more trees. Let me see what we have in possibly more debug. I think for trees, we can probably be safe and use the get together pack just so we can make sure everything blends in with the surrounding area. So let me pull some of these back in here. Gonna mix up some of these sizes just like this, just to stagger them like so. All right, I'm gonna try to squeeze in 2 larger trees. I do want to mix up the trees a little bit, so I think this could be somewhat decent. And then maybe one more on this side as well, just outside of the patio area. Going to try and blend in these elements a little bit more, so I'm pulling more of the get together debug just to add some foliage around the trees and possibly some grass bits as well. Honestly, you guys, I think maybe some good old-fashioned gravel could do the trick, so I'll probably just use this option from base game and pat it in just like this. I'll also go ahead and add just a little bit of soil beneath a lot of the shrubs just to add that element of realism as well. All right, I think this is looking a lot better now. I think the only thing I want to do now is add some lights to the outside because it will be fairly dark at night, so I do think we need that. And then maybe a few stray fence pieces as well, just on the borders. You know what? I think I'll actually keep these. They're going to be a really nice homage to the original house design. So let me add a few more over here just like this. I will also add in a lantern as well. So I'm going to pull from the cottage living pack and situate one just like this at the front door area. Definitely going to need some out on the patio as well. So let me sample this once more. And I'll probably put one maybe about here and maybe another one here. All right. Do we have a cool attic window we could use? Possibly. Something from cottage living will probably be the best fit here. So I could do something simple like this, or I could go for maybe a more rustic wooden option like this. To be honest with you guys, I actually really do like these flowers, so I think I'll actually keep them. I'm going to just recolor them just like this. I might take back my word on the daisies. I do like the daisies, but I don't know if they'll still fit. I could possibly put some over here and then probably add in some more dirt textures as well. So I think that could be a really nice element. We do, of course, need a mailbox. So let me get one of those out. Probably gonna go super old school and use this option here. And then for the trash bin, I'm going to use my trash bin of dreams. You guys probably know what it is. And it is the get together option, which I think fits perfectly here. Some of the final elements I actually want are just a few derelict fence pieces, and I'm pretty sure they are in here somewhere. And yes, here you are. Perfect. And I'm probably just going to put a few in the corner area just like this. Obviously, this fence is protecting nobody from going into the lot, but it's there for aesthetics, and that's what we're here for. All right. I should probably put these on the outside of the fence. Can I actually shimmy them over? Yes, I can. Perfect. On second thought, let me actually borrow some of the stone texture here. And I think I want to recolor this little area of the build itself. So it will look more like an extension to the house. And again, it'll give us just a little bit more variety instead of the same wallpaper everywhere. Not really too keen on these windows. I think what I'll do is actually just take one window and shift it over to this side and then delete this window as well. So this could allow for a nice little counter area if there is a grill perhaps. All right, we are back onto the inside now, and let's get started with the main living room area. Gonna see if we have some good options from either cottage living or maybe even the eco lifestyle pack as a potential option. Ooh, we do have tiny living. That is actually not a bad option. So we could do maybe a larger area rug like this. Now, I will say we do have a lot of very interesting options for the couches, but I'm thinking we could possibly do this option from the eco lifestyle pack, place it over here just like this. Could we get a big old coffee table here? Perhaps we could. We do also have some very interesting options here as well. Honestly, I think I will just go right for the matching option just like this. I feel like it fits the aesthetic of the two guys living here, so I think this could be an interesting option. Honestly, you guys, I do like the look of this armchair. It is, of course, part of the matching set, but possibly this could be here with some other smaller cushion or pillow next to it. So this could be a possibility. Let us also get some curtains down, preferably something that matches. So we could do eco lifestyle once more, just like this. Probably going to add just a little pop of color here, just like this, using the base game painting. And I'll probably pull in some wall sconces as well. Honestly, I think these lantern lights could actually be really cool in this build. So let me put 2 of these just like this, scale down just like so. Certainly need to get rid of these archways because they no longer fit, but we can use some spandrels just like this. And I'll probably pull in some new pillars or columns as well. All right, so I think something like this wouldn't be too bad for now. I think white is probably the best color option. What I'm actually going to do too is create another area over here. And I do want to create sort of a combined kitchen and dining room area. So I think that'll be our best solution because we did shift the bedrooms backwards. Honestly, this is still probably going to be a large kitchen, but I'm going to try and use these counters from the Parenthood pack. So I will line them along the window just like this. The fridge will probably go along this wall like this, and I'll probably go with a more retro look as well. We could even have some kind of island over here, which I honestly have not done in quite a while, but maybe something simple like this could do the trick, and then maybe a cool corner piece moment as well. All right, the stove can probably go along this area here, and I'm thinking I could probably do one from the cottage living pack and put it along the wall just like this. We do even have the full sink piece here, which is absolutely perfect. We can also grab some stools over here as well, and I kind of want to go for this weird sort of base game industrial option. For some reason, I think it fits the 2 guys living here, so we'll keep these. All right, I'm going to try and go for the industrial option once more. I think the only issue is that these stools might be a little bit too close, but if they do get in the way, I'm probably just going to remove them, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. It might be a little weird, you guys, but for some reason, I kind of like these jungle adventure options. I do think they fit the sort of whole beige tan, kind of dull wood outside, so perhaps they could match. So let me give it a shot. Also going to add a smaller trash bin over here, just like this. Probably just going to go simple with a base game option. And then I think what would be really nice is also a dish rack. So I'm going to pull that from the Parenthood pack just like this. All right, hanging pots and pans definitely need to hang somewhat low. So I'll probably try something like this. Honestly, I can probably even grab this rug once more. So let me just size it up and put it below the dining table just like this. And I think it makes the space feel a little bit more cozy and intimate as well. Parenthood, here we go. You are coming to the rescue with this build, surprisingly. And to be honest, I very, very rarely use this pack, but it just works. I think it just works here somehow. Finishing off the front, let me get my favorite doormat just like this. And then I'll also bring back the coat rack that was originally here as well. Tackling the bedrooms are going to be a little bit tricky, you guys. I'm going to first replace the doors and probably use the option from the Seasons pack. I think that is probably our best bet here. All right, so looking at the spaces, I'll probably make this bedroom the room of the musician Sim. So let me go ahead and add a bed in here just like this. Let's start with a pretty simple base game option for now. I imagine this Sim would even have a large fur rug perhaps. So that could be a really fun addition. Probably gonna go with city living for this and go with maybe a cream tone like so. Honestly, because this Sim is a musician, I do like more of these industrial options. I do feel like they look like carrying cases. Perhaps they hold speakers, guitars, you name it. So I think that's kind of the aesthetic we're going for here. I will try and bring back some of these curtains, and honestly, you guys, I can't really guarantee that they're going to match the Sim living here. Maybe I can use a different palette. So I could do something darker like this. It's a little bit edgier and more modern, but I feel like if this Sim was living in such a rustic house, they would kind of want to update the room a little bit. So I think this could do the trick. I think this corner could be where a lot of the instruments are, so let me pull some of the keyboards and guitars that we have in game. Technically, we do still have the DJ booth, and we do have one that is kind of more on the rustic side, which honestly, I don't really mind, especially if I'm trying to honor the Sim living here. Of course, if this Sim is working on his music, I would also put some kind of desk area in, and honestly, you guys, I do really enjoy these options from the Eco Lifestyle pack. Could do some more of these trunks on the side. I also do enjoy these from the City Living pack as well. Again, possibly for some other equipment that the DJ Sim has here. So I'll put one just like this. Also going to use this little rolly cart from the Get to Work pack, which honestly kind of fits here. I think if he has a nice sort of screen monitor setup here, I think it does make sense. So with that being said, let me see if I can put up some smaller wall mounts just like this. Maybe 2 screens up here and then a computer on the desk. Ooh, better yet, let's do a laptop. I feel like the DJ would want to be fairly mobile. So I think this is a pretty good option. For a little bit of personality, can we get a few posters perhaps? I think that could be really cool. Probably can use a few of these from the Get Together pack because they are pretty fitting. And I think about 3 of these should do the trick. Maybe I could add some kind of chill spot here. That could be really cool. Maybe with another rug overlapping perhaps, just like this. And I'm gonna try and grab 2 comfy chairs, which could potentially be a little bit more modern. This is kind of a haphazard room, so it could actually make sense here. Kind of thinking we could actually do tiny living. So we could do this and probably put 2 of these just like so. Ooh, honestly, I do like these really big speakers, so I'm probably going to put them over here just like this. I'm going to put just a little bit of clutter here and there. I feel like this guy would be sort of messy and on the go, so I think a few clothes scattered around is not too bad. And maybe even some debug objects from the Eco Lifestyle pack as well. All right, I think that is enough clutter. I figured the DJ travels quite a bit, so these could be tickets, itineraries, different directions to where he's traveling to, so I think this is pretty fitting for his room. All right, we are now on to the other brother, which I believe is more studious and academic, so I do want to use the same bed, but I will of course change out the swatch, so something like this could be a little bit more fitting. Honestly, you guys, his room is kind of big and I'm not really sure what to do with it, but I feel like he would have a lot of books in his space, so that is something we could do for him. Don't think we're going to do fur here, but we can do something from base game as well, so possibly something like this. This is not too bad. The library is going to be a little bit tricky, but I will go a little bit more old money per se. I'm thinking universities, I'm thinking Ivy League schools. I imagine his desk will be nestled between these bookcases as well, so I could do something like this and fit it in very carefully, just like so. These bookcases are just a little too big, unfortunately. I could also try this option as well to see how it fits, and just like that, I think this is looking a little better. And then possibly a corkboard of some kind up top. So I think that'll do the trick. He's probably keeping track of all his assignments, so I think that makes sense. For the computer, I think we could actually be a little bit fun with this and use the typewriter computer. It's honestly one of my favorites, even though I don't think anything like this exists. Let us also add a few book objects here as well, along with a notebook here on the desk. Making use out of this space is a little weird. I'm thinking I can possibly use one more bookcase and probably put it in this little area here, just to have a nice little nook moment. Let us also borrow the same dresser from the other sim and possibly put it just like this. And I think maybe even a standing mirror could be interesting. Ooh, do we have a diploma? I think that could be really nice. And do we? Yes, we do, with honors diploma. That's perfect. Honestly, I think it would be fun to have a few kind of geeky elements. I think that could be a really fun nod to his personality. And I do really enjoy this little robot lamp, so that could be one thing. I do wish we also had comic books, which unfortunately we don't have in-game, at least that I'm aware of. Ooh, we do have some books that do look pretty funky, so maybe something like this. So perhaps some science fiction reads, some dystopian reads, some epic fantasy. I think that's all pretty fitting for the sim. Now, fortunately, we do also have some very interesting poster options from the Parenthood pack, and if we do want to play on the personality of this sim, we do have some very interesting options here as well. I will also add another reading nook over here, and I feel like I may want to borrow from his brother once more, so possibly something, again, that's a little bit more modern, so I'll probably use this option just like this, and then maybe another accent table as well. Like I said, I do think this sim is a little bit more particular with the way he looks, so let me grab a shoe rack just like this, and maybe one of these hanging clothing objects as well, just next to the door. And I think that pretty much ties his space together. All right, and lastly, we do have the bathroom, which is fairly small, and to be honest, I was looking into tile options, I was looking into other wallpapers, but I honestly love this combination so much, so I think I'll keep it for now. I'm going to add in a little separator here for the toilet, and then the shower will probably go to the left of this section. I will say the bathroom will probably be a little bit more on the rustic side, but I think it'll match the aesthetic of the kitchen more or less, which I really do enjoy. We could do a standing shower like this, and I actually do not mind the pattern on the curtain as well. I think it's kind of a nice contrast. I'm also going to add in a little tiny linen closet here. I think it'll section off this build fairly well. And then honestly, to make my life easier, I'm probably going to pull from the kitchen. So I'm going to repurpose the same counters over here, which I think will work fairly well. For this bathroom, I'll probably do a double vanity. So we will have 2 sinks and also 2 mirrors as well. Probably will go base game with this. So we do have 2 mirrors that are also medicine cabinets, which I think works perfectly. Probably going to mix up the wall sconces just a little bit. I was trying out the lanterns, but it wasn't really fitting with the space. But I think something nice and simple from base game will do the trick here. Do we have a nice runner to use? Possibly. We could even do something like this right in front of the sinks, but of course we also need some towels and also the toothbrushes. So let me get those really quickly. Towels can probably go underneath the window. I don't really know if that is the best place to put them, but I think it'll work for the time being. I'm going to finish off the bathroom now with just a few more bits of clutter. And I think maybe just a few towels over here are fine. And then maybe a few bottles of cologne as well. Just kind of nestled in the corner area just like this. All right, so heading outside, I don't really think there's that much left. Like I said, I did want to create some kind of grill moment out here. So let us get a barbecue. I do believe I will go with the Desert Luxe option and put it up against the wall just like this. And I think we'll also create some kind of umbrella covered sitting area, which I think was actually part of the original build. Something like this from base game is actually really fun because it does match the outside. And we just need a few chairs to go with it as well, right? Just like that. Perfect. Ooh, we could even add 2 lounge chairs here as well. I think that could be really fitting. So let me see what we have. I think we could possibly do maybe some island living perhaps. That could be really nice. Again, fitting with these really nice sort of light wood tones. So I think something like this will do the trick. All right, let's check out the night view, which is fairly decent. I do want to add just a few more lights to the outside. It is a little bit dark out here, so let me see if I can find some other lamps just to brighten up the space. Unfortunately, I'm just not really seeing a lot of good options, but what I think I will do is actually use this object from the Get Together pack, and I will bump it up just like so. All right, I think that is looking better, and they do look fairly consistent as well. We can sneak in one little accent table here, and then I'm thinking the drink object from the Eco Lifestyle pack. Now, of course, we do have the garden area left, and to be honest, I don't really think these guys would spend much time here. I do believe the DJ would be out at the events quite a bit, and the other sim is probably more into his studies and his books. So the garden is going to be super simple. I'm just going to place a few of these base game planter boxes over here, just like this. And I think along this wall, I can add a few more of these circular options as well. So probably this one right here, and just gently follow the path just like this. Honestly, if the sim living here is a botanist, that would be absolutely perfect. I imagine he would be tending the garden while the other sim is away, but for the time being, I think this is pretty much it. I'll just go ahead and add in a bench over here, and that should tie together the space. Alright guys, so this is pretty much the finished result. This is the new to old renovation challenge, and this is a whole look at the lot itself. Now, obviously this house was very modern and contemporary, but we went for a very rustic kind of country look here, and honestly, I do really enjoy how this came out. So going into the house itself, this is just a quick look at the finished living room. It is quite an overhaul from what it started as, but to honor the integrity of the build, it does have the fireplace in the somewhat original position. Anyways, we do move on to the kitchen area, which actually was relocated. It is now in the front of the house and features a combined kitchen and dining room area. So again, following a very similar color scheme to the living room. And now moving on to the 2 bedrooms themselves, which I did try to style roughly in the vein of the 2 sims. Moving to the right, we do have the room of the original DJ sim, which again had a full-on overhaul, but we do have a DJ booth, a large stereo system, and we even have a little chill hangout spot and even a place to edit his music, which I thought was pretty cool. But of course, in contrast, his brother or possible roommate, I'm not sure. So his room is very old school academic, if you will, which was honestly quite a bit of fun to design. He does have a lot of bookcases with a built-in desk per se, but of course he does still have some touches of a sort of geeky side to him, which I thought was fun. So possibly some science fiction, comics, you name it. Finishing the build are just 2 shared spaces, this being the bathroom. It does have a double vanity now, and it also has a little bit more of a private toilet area towards the right. We do have a standing combo shower in the middle, and also a linen closet towards the left. Going outside to the patio, I would say it is more or less the same, but we do have a grill over there. We do have a dining table out here as well with an umbrella, and of course 2 wonderful lounge chairs looking out over the garden. The garden is over here towards the left, and again, it's fairly simple, but it is nicely bordered by these hedge pieces, and also has plenty of different garden pots for your Sims to use. Overall, I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this challenge. It was definitely fun seeing how much I could transform this building while still keeping the original shell intact. As always, if you guys have more ideas for build challenges, please feel free to share them with me. It doesn't matter if they're weird, wonky, or even super difficult. I'm really open to anything. With that being said, I will catch you all in the next build challenge. And of course, just like always, this has been 𝗪𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏, signing off. Thank you so much for watching, guys.